Why is David Gaudu pacing with Tadej Pogacar in his wheel? Jonas Vingegaard tests the Slovenian once again. This was Paris Stage 7. Pogacar 6 seconds ahead of Gaudu on GC, 46 ahead of Vingegaard. Big gap between second and third. This is the only big mountaintop finish. Col de la Couillole, about 15, 16 Ks, 7%. Very, very steady. No real steep pinches. Wide road, decent road surface. Warm conditions, I can tell you. I was in the mountains today. Much warmer than I expected. Big break with Cavagna in there on 3 minutes on GC. So UAE had to work today to keep that in check, especially a break that big. Gaudu, what would FDJ be up to with him so close within bonus second striking range of Pogacar? But Ineos came to the front with 42 Ks to go. Unfortunately, Thailand crashed out of the race. But they were pushing so hard. They were down to Frailer and Sivakov was talking to him. Seneschal drops his chain and then but he gets it back on, doesn't sever his fingers. Very, very good job from the quick-step rider. But yeah, there was riders getting dropped on that descent. Maybe that's why Ineos wanted to come forward, like Pierre Latour and I think Jorgensen, Kevin Vauquelin. I think there was a crash as well that might have split it up. So Jumbo put Van Hooijdonk on the front to pace. There's riders on the back, make the race hard. And also Van Hooijdonk's not going to really be able to make the race too hard on the climb either. They've only got Vos left for Vingegaard. They don't really have a strong climbing squad. Schielmo's a crash is really disappointing for him. I wanted to see how he went on GC. The break does make it to the climb though. Holsten's going for competitivity. Romo after him. Tobias Vos, the only domestique for Vingegaard, but he does a really good job setting a pace on this climb, chasing the breakaway. Just a long, steady effort. It is a climb that is well suited to him, and he drops every domestique except for, I think, Chris Harper on Jayco, and also he drops a few GC riders who I was surprised to see going out the back. Danny Martinez with 12.5 Ks to go, gone. Ineos dual leaders with Sivakov and Martinez scuppered for tomorrow's tricky stage. We've got Mader and Haig here for Bahrain. But it's not the pace. It's not going to put Pogacar under pressure. And on a steady climb like this, it's not like Col de Grenol last year. You're going to need both Vingegaard on top shape and the pace really, really severe. With Romo's come back from the break and he was able to hang in the group for a fair while. So it kind of slowed down a bit. Still a great pull from Vos, but Jumbo brought a ruler strong team here. There's no Koos, there's no Kruiswijk to really ramp up the pace on the climbs after someone like Vos has set it up. And so Harper attacks. And we're thinking, is Vingegaard going to attack with Pogacar in the wheel, like we saw on Loge de Garde earlier in the week, and we saw what happened there with Pogacar and Gaudu? And the answer was more of a steadier pace. This is a longer climb that suits Vingegaard more than the shorter one the other day. But we all know, you're watching Pogacar's body language, he is going to attack and counter the second Vingegaard's butt hits the saddle. Right at this moment, Vingegaard's going to sit down, and that's Pogacar's cue to accelerate and counter-attack. And Vingegaard, and there's a crash behind with Pare Pantra. I don't really know what happened. He obviously chopped his front wheel. And I was thinking at this point, 45 seconds, 1 minute, has Vingegaard repeated the mistakes of the other day? Harper pacing, powerless, Haig, Yates and Latour back. Mader's further up the road. Very good shape here, Gino Mader. Sivakov, Jorgensen, Bardet, Gaudu on Vingegaard train's wheel. Has Vingegaard made the same mistake as the other day? And the answer was no. He didn't try and snap close it. He bridged across more gradually compared to the punchy climb, the short hill the other day. Gaudu eventually helping him, with Pogacar sort of pacing for the best part of 2Ks on his own, look back, and then he realised, well, I can just ruin these guys in the sprint. So why not sit on? Mader, Yates, and Powless rode to power pretty well, I think, on this climb and came back. But the way Gaudu paced is the curious part of this climb. Pogacar just, did what he does, sprint, whatever. Gaudu's 6 seconds behind Pog. He's stronger than Vingegaard in this race, and he's 40 seconds clear of him. And yet he kind of rode as if Vingegaard was ahead of him on GC and Pogacar was behind him on GC. Now, maybe he was worried about Yates, Mader, and Sivakov and co coming back because Pogacar wasn't pulling too much after he got caught at all. He's got the sprint, so why would he? And to me, Gaudu let Vingegaard sort of try and take the wheel, and Vingegaard didn't. Maybe Gaudu was setting up for another attack. I don't know, because then when he dropped Vingegaard, he kept pacing with Pog in the wheel for a long time, and he doesn't have no chance of winning the stage. He beat Van Aert in the Dauphiné uphill sort of finish last year. He's a punchy guy, but the way he rode the finish suggested to me that he wanted to lock in second on GC and he didn't think he had a chance to win the stage because Vingegaard does come back and 500 meters to go, he's still pacing on the front. Somewhat curious. And then sort of this happens. He goes to put his hands behind it to rub the sweat off his hands. It was hot conditions. Just as Vingegaard attacks, he then loses the wheel of Vingegaard. He wasn't on Pogacar's wheel. He has to go the long way around, and he loses 2 seconds plus, obviously, the stage. Listen, Pog, uphill sprint, death taxes, and Pog winning uphill sprints, you know how it be. But Gadu shouldn't have lost 2 seconds on this stage. He was strong enough to finish on the same time, but Pogacar takes the 4 bonies plus 2 seconds on him. Vingegaard on 6 seconds. Yates and Powell and Mader paced it, I think, as best as they could, finishing 4th, 5th, and 6th. Here's what Pogacar had to say after the stage.
Yeah, I think the first really hot day this year, and we were racing really full gas from the start, and yeah, Ineos did a big effort in the middle of the stage, and it was coming to the final climb. I think everyone was already a bit dead, and yeah, for sure today was one of the toughest battle between for the finish.
Because you tried with more or less 5 kilometers to go. Was that not a little bit early?
Yeah, it was. It was a bit early, but I didn't want too many riders in the front, so it would be less start and go. But in the end, it went perfectly how I imagined.
But despite Pog's dominance, he is only still 12 seconds ahead of David Gaudu, with FDJ having a pretty strong team with Stefan Kung, who was very good on the stage tomorrow last year. It's a hard, short, punchy stage. It's difficult to defend. GC has nearly changed and has changed multiple times on this parkour before. I can't wait to watch it. I'll see you with the recap tomorrow. Ciao.